Hey Gary, how you doing? You there? Gary, are you there? Gary, let me know if you can hear us.
Good morning, everyone, and Anne, I'm sorry I have to meet you virtually, but welcome. I hope things are going okay.
So you can hear us fine, Gary? Gary, you can hear us? Oh, okay. Hey Gary, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, just fine. How you feeling?
Feeling okay, thanks. Yeah, okay.
Good.
Doing my stuff, and great, ready to go whenever you guys are here.
All righty.
Perfect. Thanks, Larry.
Okay, members, please turn on your videos. Microphones, please ensure your laptops are muted. We'll unmute the room. Are we live on YouTube?
Good morning. In accordance with sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. My name is Larry Clay and I'll be chairing today's session. Panel members today are Dylan Reed, Ann Crawford, and Katie Plazer. Our Deputy Secretary Treasurer today is Sabrina Salatino. We acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat people. It is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are now conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submission in person and others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. For those participating virtually, when your item is called, you'll be unmuted by the moderator. For both in-person and virtual participants, the Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must first fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually will need to submit a written request for a decision by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal to the Toronto Local Appeal Body or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal committee decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons and public bodies are permitted to appeal the decisions. Today, I'll call each item in the order listed on the agenda, and where an application is contested, the agent or applicant will proceed with the presentation. When an application is uncontested, the committee may not require a presentation, but may ask questions before they take it into committee for a decision. Any presentation or other materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept new materials at the hearing. The applicant or agent will proceed first to make a presentation to the committee. Then individuals either in support or opposed to the application will be invited to speak. Generally, we call first on speakers in the hearing room and then those participating through WebEx. Each speaker, including the applicant, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee, and I'll comment when you're reaching the 5-minute mark. When all speakers are finished, the applicant has an opportunity to rebut those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion, and the application will be taken to the committee for a decision. Madam Deputy Secretary Treasurer, any minutes to be confirmed?
Good morning, Mr. Chair and panel members. Yes, the minutes from the April 15th hearing of this year are ready for adoption.
Okay, I'll move adoption. Can I have a seconder? Dylan? All in favor? Minutes are adopted. Any files to be closed today?
Through you, Mr. Chair, seen none this morning.
All right, any declarations of interest, staff or panel, for the morning session? See none. And are there any deferral requests to deal with this morning?
Through you, Mr. Chair, there are 2 deferral requests. Item number 11271 Russell Hill Road, file number A0142/26TEY. And item number 1217 Gilbert Avenue, file number A0160/26TEY. Through you, Mr. Chair, we can deal with both of these items at this time.
Great, thank you very much. Hang on a sec while I find it. All right, I'll read it into the record. This is item number 11271 Russell Hill Road. This is an application to alter the development standards approved by the OLT for a 4-story residential building currently under construction by increasing the height of the building from 4 stories to 6 stories, the maximum gross floor area, the depth, and the number of 2-bedroom residential dwelling units from 4 to 6. Also, to reduce the front and side yard setbacks, the landscape open space, the vertical clearance of parking space, and the number of visitor parking spaces from 2 to 1. There'll be a total of 7 residential dwelling units and 13 parking spaces on the lot. Committee had before a copy of plan and survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. Revised zoning notice received April 24th. A red line public notice received April 24th. 2 photographs of the subject property. 6 photographs of the subject property received April 24th. Previous decision number affecting the subject property, the OMB decision order affecting the subject property, planning rationale from the agent, and shadow studies. We also have presentation materials from the agent. We have quite a long list of people who have written in opposition. I'm not going to read them all. Suffice to say there are numerous pieces of correspondence in opposition from residents on Russell Hill Road, St. Clair Avenue, Warren Road. That appears to be it. Sorry, and that's it. Thank you, Sabrina.
Sorry, through you, Mr. Chair. The Councillor's Office from Ward 12, it's presented on the screen. This came in very late. It's a letter of concern about the application, so this will be on public record.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right, do we have the agent with us?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online and several registered speakers in person.
Okay, thank you. Let's hear from the agent first. Mr. Smith.
Good morning. This is Miss Cynthia McDougall.
Oh.
I'm the solicitor from McCarthy's, and I submitted a letter requesting an adjournment yesterday, and I'm aware of Councillor Matlow's letter. And as set out in my letter, there's unfortunately been a misinformation campaign where there's been signs posted by a neighbor in the right-of-way of Russell Hill Road, which has incorrect graphics, which reflect the fact, or the purported fact, that the building will be doubled in height.
All right, ma'am, I'm just going to ask you for the reason for your request for deferral.
Yes. The reason for request is that because of this misinformation campaign, I would like to respectfully request the adjournment to allow for further information and correct information to be shared with the community so that when we come back to the Committee of Adjustment, people will have the correct information. Thank you.
All right, thanks very much. Okay. There are a number of folks here who want to speak to this item. First of all, thank you for coming down. As you've heard today, the agent and the applicant is seeking a deferral, hopefully to have some more conversations with the surrounding neighbors and answer questions, perhaps clarify things. So we're not going to be hearing the merits of the application this morning. All I really want to know is if you are in agreement with the deferral request or not. If we can have folks come up, I don't know what order you'd like to come up in, but if whoever wants to start, come on up to the podium. Again, I'm not going to be entertaining any discussion about the merits of the proposal today. So if you want to sit down, and if you could give us your name and address, please, sir.
Sure. My name's David.
There's a little microphone in front of you. Just push it and see the green button comes on.
David Hertzman, 292 Russell Hill Road.
Great, sir. Are you in favor or not of a deferral?
I am not in favor of the deferral. I'd like to go forward.
Okay, thanks very much. That's all I need from you. Ma'am, are you speaking today?
Yes, my name's Marilyn Shesko. I live at 292 Russell Hill Road, and I am definitely not in favor of a deferral.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sir.
My name is Jeff Rubenstein. I live at 96 Warren Road, and I also am not in favor of the deferral.
Okay. Thank you very much. Is there other folks who want to come up and speak?
My name is Adrienne Patullo. I live at 290 Russell Hill Road, and I am also not in favor of a deferral.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else in person here today who wants to speak on this item? Oh, come on over, sir.
Excuse me.
That's okay. Take your time.
Ages bugger.
I sympathize.
My name is Dr. Dominic Batista. I live at 275 Russell Hill Road, and I don't want a deferral.
All right. Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else in the room today? That's it. Folks online? No one online. All right. Thank you all for coming down, and I appreciate your input on not seeking deferral. so you know if they don't seek an deferral, then we would consider the application and it may or may not get approved. But thank you for your input. We're going to take it into committee and have a quick discussion about the request for a deferral. Okay, we're in committee.
Through you, sorry, Mr. Chair. I just want to, point of clarification. In the deferral letter, it does state that this application be rescheduled to the May 27th hearing. That's not possible. So,
Okay.
you know, this is just a message to the agent that when they are ready to come back to committee, that they'll contact the Committee of Adjustment office, and then the application will be rescheduled to the hearing that we're actually scheduling for. Currently, right now, we're scheduling for our June hearings. Okay, so I just wanted to
Thank you.
put that on
That's
record
helpful.
That it's not going to be the May
That's helpful.
27th hearing.
And I would note, Sabrina, that in the red line version that was submitted to us, they've made a change to one of the variances. And the change actually increases the depth of the application. And for those of you here today and listening, what that means is they're making a change to the variance which makes it larger, a request for a larger variance. And under the Planning Act, when you do that, you have to then go back out and provide proper notice. So it's almost an automatic deferral in that case, because the information that we have in front of us has changed such that you as neighbors are entitled to receive notice again, proper notice. So I appreciate the fact that you'd like to hear it today, but that puts us in a bit of a box that we actually have to defer it. Okay, thank you. All
Sorry,
right.
and through you, Mr. Chair, perhaps I'll get the presenter to show that red line public notice and to scroll down to variance number 7 to show where that depth variance does increase.
Yep.
For public record. Thank you. So the revision would be from 31.77 meters to 34.56 meters.
Right. So that's just for public record to see that this is, the proposal is changing. All right, we're back in committee. Anyone want to take this one? Dylan?
I just want to say I do sympathize with the neighbors' desire to go ahead with this. I don't really feel like, I think the committee is able to understand that, a sign that's being put up is not correctly reflect what's before us, and we would be able to make a decision on the basis of the correct information. And I think that most of the neighbors also understand the correct information. But at the same time, it is good if, there's further consultation with the neighbors. And we are, in fact, basically forced to do a deferral anyway because it requires proper notice for an increased variance. So for those reasons, I'll move a deferral.
Okay, motion by Mr. Reid to defer, second by Mrs. Glazer. All in favor? Okay, this item is deferred. You heard Sabrina indicate that if they want to continue this process, they will have to come back in sometime in June. But you will also, each of you received updated notice on the changes to their plan, if any. They may be changing them more to accommodate some of your concerns. So thank you all for coming down. All right, the next item is what number?
Through you, Mr. Chair, item number 12, 17 Gilbert Avenue.
Okay. 17 Gilbert Avenue. This is an application to legalize and maintain the existing rear one-story addition, which was constructed without an authorized building permit. Also to convert the existing basement level into a residential dwelling unit. There will be a total of 2 residential dwelling units on this lot. Committee has before it a copy plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 2 photographs of the subject property, deferral request from the agent. We have an order to comply affecting the subject property. We have email correspondence from Transportation Review and staff report from Metrolinx. We have 6 form letters in support from owners occupants on Gilbert Avenue.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is George Reguera. I'm the applicant for the 16 Gilbert Avenue.
And your address, sir?
My address is 3496 Southwick Street, Mississauga, Ontario.
That's great. Thanks very much. And your reason for your deferral request?
This was a family problem and I didn't transfer the information on time. This is all about.
Okay. Thank you. Panel, any questions? No? Okay, let's take it into committee. Who wants to move a deferral? Ann?
The applicant is specifically requesting.
Is your mic on there? Yeah, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now, yeah.
The applicant's specifically requesting, or the applicant's agent specifically requesting a deferral for a good reason, personal reason, and I would recommend that we defer this item.
Okay, motion by Ms. Crawford to defer. Do I have a seconder? Ms. Plaitzer. Oh, I'm sorry. Gary, I'm going to give myself a little note to keep on checking for you, and I'm sorry for overlooking you.
No difficulty. Yes, I think it's appropriate to defer a second. Yeah.
All right. Seconded by Mr. McKay. All in favor? You have your deferral. Thank you. Okay. We resume with the beginning of today's agenda with item number 1. And this is 41 Brandon Avenue. This is an application to alter the existing 2-story semi-detached dwelling by constructing a front 2nd-story balcony above the existing porch. Committee has before it a copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 5 photographs of the subject property. We have our agent.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and committee members.
Good morning. Just if you could speak up just a little bit, please, sir.
Yeah, for sure. Good morning, Mr. Chair and committee members.
I'm still a little loud. Can you get a little closer to the microphone?
Yeah, sure.
Are you there?
Yes.
That's much better. Thank you.
Okay.
Name and address, sir.
Sure. My name is Morteza Davari. I'm the designer and authorized agent for owner of 41 Brandon Avenue. My address is 3080 Young Street, Suite 6060.
Okay, just hang on a sec, sir. I'm not sure we need a presentation. Anyone want a presentation on this? Sir, it's a fairly straightforward application. We've read your material. We're familiar with your proposal. We don't need a presentation this morning. Is there anything you'd like to share with us before we take it in for a committee? Sir, are you there?
Yes. I'm happy to provide a brief overview in the committee fields would be helpful, but I don't want to take up the time.
That's fine. I think it's a fairly straightforward application, sir, but thank you very much for the offer. Let's go into committee. Anyone? Dylan?
Yes. First of all, I think that the 2nd-story front balconies are a great addition to the city. They provide a nice connection between public and private, and the variance is literally 2 centimeters, which is incredibly minor. So I move that we approve this variance.
Okay, motion by Mr. Reid to approve, second by Ms. Plaitzer. All in favor? You have your approval, sir. Thank you very much. Okay, move on to item number 2. 61 Gloucester Grove. This is an application to construct a new 3-story detached dwelling with an integral at-grade garage and a covered front porch, rear basement walkout, and a rear 2nd-level balcony. Committee has before it a copy plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 11 photographs of the subject property. We have cover letter from the agent, comparables chart from the agent, and presentation materials from the agent. We have staff report from Urban Forestry and 4 form letters in support from owners occupants of 60 Gloucester Grove and 434, 440, and 445 Winnet.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online.
All right. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Chair. Meher Manias. I'm the agent, number 1 Teakwood Grove, Toronto, M3B 2H9.
Great, sir. There's no one here to speak on this item, but it is a substantial application. So maybe just a quick overview, please.
Sure, happy to. So the proposal is to build a 3-story dwelling, which includes, by the way, the lower level, and I'm going to get into the reason behind that, to replace the existing detached dwelling. We are requesting 5 variances. I'm going to dive into the main objective of the application, which is the fact that zoning has deemed this to be a 3-story dwelling because of the revision to the zoning bylaw by bylaw number 1277 of 2022, which came into effect in 2023, which changed the definition of basement and first floor. So the elevation that's in front of you on the screen, if staff can be kind enough to zoom into the bottom right hand, there's a dimension there of 0.79, which is bubbled. If we are to lower the lower level slab to that level, the basement, that lower level would be deemed a basement now and would be exempt from FSI. So right now, the FSI that's in front of you includes all 3 levels of this building, including the lower level. If we go down to 0.79, the FSI would be 0.84. Variance number 4 would not be required because it wouldn't be a balcony anymore. It would actually be a deck off the first floor, which complies with projection and side yard setbacks. The remaining, so the FSI would actually be 0.84, which is quite minimal, and it's well within what's been approved by committee in the past. Most of the applications which we've submitted on the history have all been approved before the zoning bylaw change came into effect. So if you would take all of those and you add the basements to them, they'll be substantially higher. The remaining variances, the front porch, we're requesting 1.17 setback versus 1.2. The existing porch that's there right now, which is covered, and the full width of the house is 0.98 meters setback. The eaves is actually, the setback is to the gutter, not to the roof overhang. The overhang is 0.32, which complies. And the existing house, which is even closer to the property line, is only 0.04 away with their gutters. So it's an improvement to what's there right now. Side yard setbacks, we are increasing it from what's there. Current setback of the west side is 0.29. It is a narrow lot, and it's in keeping with approvals in the neighborhood, as you can see from the chart. And as you mentioned, Mr. Chair, there are 4 letters of support. Since then, actually, over the weekend, we received another 2, including the immediate east neighbor, but it was too late for them to be posted on the city website. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you, sir. Any questions, panel?
No.
See none? All right, thank you, sir. We'll take it into committee. Straightforward application. Ann?
Yes, I would move to accept this application on the basis the variances are minor. The agent has very well explained the 2 main variances, which seemed significant, were the FSI and the balcony. But rather than being, the FSI in particular, rather than being objectionable above ground massing, was due to the basement being defined as part of the stories and therefore part of the FSI. In fact, there is no unacceptable massing or deviation from established character in the neighborhood, very important for FSI. There's letters of support. So I would move that the variances are minor and we should accept the application.
Okay, a motion by Ms. Crawford to approve.
Urban Forestry Condition 3.
It's Urban Forestry 3. Did you catch that, Ann?
Urban Forestry 3.
Okay. I have a seconder.
I'll second that. I think it's fitting with the direction that development in the area is going, and it has neighbor support, so.
Okay. Seconded by Ms. Plazer. All in favor? Okay, you have your approval, sir. Thank you very much. Item number 3 is 107A Hannaford Street. This is an application to alter the existing 1.5-story semi-detached dwelling by constructing a 2nd-story addition, which is basically a north side dormer, and a new rear first-story deck with stairs. Committee has before a copy, plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 2 photographs of the subject property, covering letter from the agent, and a tree protection plan.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online.
Good morning. Morning, sir. Mr. Andrews. No luck?
No.
Did we lose him?
I will try to call him.
Okay.
Good morning. Owen Andrews here, 107A Hannaford Street, Toronto. Sorry.
Good morning, sir. This looks fairly straightforward. Are you just mirroring what's next door in the adjacent semi? Did we lose him?
I think we lost him. Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened. We lost him. I'm gonna call him again.
Okay. One more try.
Mr. Andrews, you've been muted.
Hello, Mr. Andrews.
Hello.
Hello. We've got you now?
Yes, I'm not sure what happened there.
That's okay. Sir, you've given us your name and address. Is what you're proposing basically mirroring the semi that you're attached to? Okay.
Correct.
All right.
Correct.
Panel, does anyone need a presentation on this one? It looks fairly straightforward. Sir, given what you're proposing, and we've read your application, we don't really need a presentation today. Is there anything you'd like to share with us before we take it into committee for a decision?
No.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're in committee.
I'll take this one,
Okay,
Chair.
okay. Katie?
Yeah, I think that this is a very reasonable project, only 2 variances before us. I think it looks like a very functional renovation. The current structure has some pretty major limitations space-wise, and it's nice to see people choosing to use, to build on what they already have and make something work for them. I think it's really desirable and appropriate and relatively minor, especially given that it's matching what's next door. So I would move to approve it.
All right, no conditions?
I don't see any conditions.
All right, motion by Ms. Plazer to approve, seconded by Mr. Reid. All in favor? You have your approval. Thank you. All right, Gary, I'm just going to ask you if you want to weigh in, just shout, because sometimes I don't catch you out of the corner of my eye. Okay?
Yeah, that's fine, Chair. That's great. Sure.
All right, item number 4 is 44 Earl Haig Avenue. This is an application to alter the existing 2-story semi-detached dwelling by constructing a front 1-story addition to fully enclose the existing front porch for habitable space. Committee has before it a copy of plan and survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 8 photographs of the subject property. We have planning rationale from the applicants and a tree site plan from the applicants. We also have correspondence and support from 46 Earl Haig Avenue right next door. All right.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent in person and online. And
You're in person and online?
No, and one.
That's pretty good.
My wife's online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning, sir. Name and address, please.
Stephen Gimza, 44 Earl Haig Avenue.
Sir, this is just enclosing the front porch, right?
Yeah, and mirroring the attached semi that we're attached to.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to need a presentation. First of all, thank you for coming down.
Of course.
I don't really think we're going to need a presentation today because it's a fairly straightforward application. Is there anything you'd like to share with the panel before we take it in for a decision?
No, just thanks for your time and consideration this morning.
One question.
Dylan has a question.
I just couldn't help noticing from the photos that you'd actually already done the work. Just wanted to speak to that.
We have not done it.
It looks like it's already been enclosed, like the work has already gone ahead.
It has not been enclosed. We just put up, the porch is actually falling apart. So we actually had put some stuff up, and then before proceeding, we're here obviously for the permits. But we have not started, the porch is not currently enclosed as it is today.
Oh, okay, because it looked like from the photos like it already was.
There's no order to.
Oh, I see, it's just the, I see, it's just the framing.
Yeah.
It looked like there was windows, but I think those are actually the inside windows.
Right.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
Okay. All right. Anything else? No, we're good. Thank you, sir. We'll take it into committee. Gary, do you want to take this one?
Sure, Chair. Yes, I think the four tests are met here. Front yard setback increase and the FSI. So I see no urban forestry condition. I would move approval of this application without condition.
All right. Motion by Mr. McKay to approve, seconded by Ms. Plazer. All in favor? You have your approval, sir. Thank you very much for coming down.
Thank you very much.
All right. We move on to item number 5. 149 Perth Avenue. This is an application to legalize and maintain the existing one-story detached dwelling, including 1- and 2-story rear additions by constructing a front ground floor covered porch with stairs, a front second-story addition, and a new rear ground floor stairs. For the existing one-story sunroom. The existing rear 2-story ancillary building containing a garage and storage space will be maintained and unaltered. There will be a total of 3 residential dwelling units on this lot. Committee has before it a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 5 photographs of trees on the subject property, a correspondence from the agent and transportation services, order to comply affecting the subject property, and a building permit affecting the subject property. We have staff reports from Urban Forestry and from Metrolinx.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Chairman and committee members. My name is Lin Jason Ho. I'm the agent on behalf of the owner. My address is 222 Coxwell Avenue, Toronto, Ontario, M4L3B2.
Okay, sir. I think we're going to need a presentation today, and specifically if you can speak to the order to comply. It looks like you've got some underpinning done without a permit and other things, so it's a little bit complicated for us. So if you could take us through it, please.
Yep. So the order to comply was actually issued prior to the permit that we received in 2025. Initially, the homeowner was going to basically renovate this dwelling that she purchased from an estate sale to become a single-family dwelling. In the process of renovation, as we were starting, we discovered the owner that she bought it from had done the underpinning himself, and it was inadequate. So the owner's insurance agent advised her to take out order to comply to see if she can claim a insurance on her purchase. However, that did not come to fruition. So the order to comply actually has no bearing on the variances we're asking for at the Committee of Adjustment today. It was issued in 2025, and that was on the underpinning that was done by the owner previous to the current owner. That was the sort of story around the order to comply.
Okay, and if you could, thank you. I find it shocking that anyone would underpin their basement without a permit. That's just
absolutely,
that's just reckless, frankly.
It is, yeah. And we have rectified the foundation under the engineer's recommendations, just to make sure that it's at no danger of collapse. But since the issuance of the previous permit, the homeowner had a change in her family situation. Her sister, who is disabled, wishes to cohabitate with her. So during the process of renovation, she decided to change the application so that we go for a triplex instead to accommodate a co-living arrangement with the owner's sister.
Okay. Anything else, sir?
Yeah, so I just wanted to mention the variances that we are requesting. One is for the rear yard landscaping, and that was existing to remain. That's the item number 3. Everything else was tied to all the other variances are derived from addition in the front, which is a shared stairs over the existing basement cold room to access the first floor unit and the second floor unit, and then a cover porch in front of the shared stairs to kind of make the street view of the building more friendly and give the residents a place to sit and look out to the street, similar to a lot of the neighbors' buildings. So there is some variances tied to the encroachment of projections to the setbacks, and also the city had identified that the front stairs leading onto the porch is encroaching onto the city's property. And we have received clearance from the Ministry of Transportation for that encroachment.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions, panel? Gary?
Yes, thanks, Chair. The committee is really sensitive to situations where landscaping is reduced, and your variance number 5, so front yard landscaping should be 50%. Yep. And it's 19% here. So could you talk about the situation? Is there any room for improvement, or is it because of the built form out front?
Unfortunately, yes, I'm sorry. Because of the built form and the setback, we are already pretty much maxed out by the time we add a walkway to the access stairs itself. We would be happy to look for any ability to offset the planted landscape by, considering, even maybe green roof or something on the front porch. But in terms of like improvement, there limited ability for us to increase the percentage because of the way the setback is and the size of the shared porch.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, sir. So we're not going to be the ones that are going to suggest any mitigating measures like you suggested. It's kind of up to you. If you want to offer a green roof or some other form of landscaping that might improve the situation, we'd ask you to identify those, please.
So at this moment, we have not committed to any other improvement. Let me see here. The only thing we could do is to commit to a green roof on the porch roof.
Okay, that's
to
great.
Improve.
Thank you for that.
Thank
All right,
you.
Any further questions, panel? Okay, let's go into committee. Who wants to take this one? Dylan?
Just a comment. I am sometimes a little skeptical of what I call porch creep, where someone has closed their porch and then they put a new porch in front. But in this case, that actually aligns with what a lot of the street already has. So I think it's okay in this situation. And of course, that also speaks to the lack of soft landscaping in the front, because they've built the porch all the way to the property line. So I think in this case, it's okay. Although it did raise my eyebrows.
And what do you think about the green roof over the porch?
If they're willing to do that, that's great. Happy to put that as a condition.
Anyone else have any comments? No? I just will, again, for the record, express, I think, our collective concern about doing underpinning without a building permit. I can't imagine finding a contractor in this city that would do that. It's just shocking to me. But anyways, it's not this owner's issue. It was the previous owner, so I understand that. All right. Do you want to turn that into a motion, Dylan?
Sure. I'll make a motion to approve these variances for the reasons given. I think that, overall it aligns with the neighborhood. And, the rear soft landscaping is an existing condition. And it does provide, useful new housing in the area. So for those reasons, I propose that we approve the variances with forestry condition number 1, with the usual Metrolinx clause, and with a condition that the porch be built with a green roof.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Reid with those conditions. I have a seconder. Ms. Crawford, all in favor? Okay, you have your approval. Thank you, sir.
Through you, Mr. Chair, for public record, we will put for the record about not condoning the underpinning of the basement in the minutes. Okay.
Yes, thank you very much. Strenuously don't. Okay, we move on to item number 6, 898 Broadview Avenue. This is an application to alter the existing alter the 6-story semi-detached apartment building, which is currently under construction, by converting a portion of the rear 6-story green roof area into indoor amenity space and outdoor amenity terrace. There'll be a total of 10 residential dwelling units on this lot. Committee has before it a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 2 photographs of the subject property, covering letter from the agent, and a previous decision number affecting the subject property. We have correspondence and opposition from 165 Cambridge Avenue. Oh. Yes. Oh, so have I.
We've both frozen, yeah.
Okay. My screen has gone blank as well. Everything.
Mr. Chair, let's take a 5-minute break.
Yeah, we'll take a 5-minute break while we rectify some of our technical issues.
Please turn off your videos, microphones.
Should I read? Weird being bathroom. Could you actually go down the wrong hallway? They're on for a long time. Yeah, but the legal department's not. Really?
It's unusual that they're not calling us. Sorry. Are you planning to organize the rest of the session by people who are in person? Oh, so it just seemed like we were going some folks who were just online. Yeah, we just haven't been doing that. The speakers are organized by in person, but the agenda isn't. Yeah. 16. Yeah. We are.
Typically deal with deferrals first.
Rodney Gill.
Okay, yeah.
Virtual speakers. Oh, you're still going to go in order of the agenda? Okay. You can, never mind, but you can move the motion. That's fine. That's fine.
We're not moving the motion.
No. No, I got you. I'm just saying, like in North York, that is actually how they do it. I was there last week.
It's in fairness, we go in.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
If there was an emergency.
No, not suggesting that. I'm just, that's what I'm used to. Well, you were fine with the
Actually,
a little bit of reframing. Your experience. That's all. Yeah. Over like a 24-hour period. Yeah. Like, that's okay. So he's got these right. And they're like, oh, actually. Oh, he's like, that's okay. And then he just does it. They were just so impressed with this facility. Together. Isn't that fun? That's really. There's another very good story actually. So remember that. You know, it's a way to go. You're not well.
Members, please turn on your videos, microphones, make sure laptops are muted. We'll unmute the room.
All right. Apologies for that little blip. We are back. We will continue on with item number 6, 898 Broadview Avenue. I read this into the record. I think that was before we shut down. So we will bring on the agent. And you're the agent?
That's correct,
All
yes.
right. Name and address, please, ma'am.
Valerie Nasso. I'm with Batory Planning and Management. Our address is 1550 Kingston Road, Suite 1345 in Pickering.
Great. I actually remember this application when you were before us, and it was a fairly significant discussion, as I recall. Your proposal is to put a multiplex rate, but adjacent to a semi, right?
This proposal, sorry? No, this is, so it was previously approved for a 6-story apartment building.
Right. but it's a semi, right?
Yes, that's correct. So the other part of the semi-detached is still there.
Yeah, it's still there. Okay.
Yes.
So I think the discussion that we had at the time was, wouldn't it be great if, you know, your clients would have been able to acquire the adjacent semi?
Yes. At this moment, I don't know if there's any plans for that. It's just what we have today.
Okay. All right. Maybe just because it is a significant one, just a quick overview for the panel members.
Sure. I did prepare a presentation.
Yeah, I'd love to see the presentation.
Yeah, okay. Let's hear it. We'll call up your presentation. That's it there, no? Yep, that's it? No.
No, there was like a presentation deck.
Guys, do we have it?
Do we have a deck?
Was it late material? Did you submit it late?
No, I submitted it a week in advance.
We don't have it. Do we have it?
Yes, there it is.
Okay, there you go. All right, ma'am. Over to you.
All right, thank you so much. So hi, everyone. I'm Valerie with Batory. The proposal here today is for an amenity space addition to the 6-story. The building itself, all the units, the height, density, the building length all remains the same. It's just an addition to the 6-story. Next slide, please. So the site was formerly a semi-detached dwelling located on the west side of Broadview Avenue. Broadview is characterized by a mix of retail, office, residential uses with a variety of building typologies, including low-rise, mid-rise, and high-rise. Next slide. So the site is currently under construction for an approved 6-story, 10-unit apartment building, which was approved by the committee back in 2024. And you could see, I think it's on the left-hand side there. That's where the other part of the semi-detached building is currently. Next slide. So the subject site is situated on a council-approved avenue and major street and is within a designated mixed-use area. The subject site is zoned as commercial residential by the Toronto City bylaw, and it's also within the Broadview major transit station area. Next slide. So in 2024, the site received committee adjustment approval for a 6-story, 10-unit apartment building with a residential FSI of 4.35. So the approved building featured a 61 square meter green roof that was accessed from the 6-story facing the rear yard. Notably, this entire space was intended to function as outdoor amenity for residents of the site. Next slide. And so you could see where the previous green roof / outdoor amenity was permitted. Next slide. Next. So the applicant is seeking to convert the area that was previously approved as the green roof and outdoor amenity space into a 58 square meter indoor amenity space with a library, great room, kitchenette, and bathroom. So there will still be a small outdoor amenity terrace facing the rear yard, but it's quite small. The zoning bylaw typically excludes amenity space from GFA when it is a bylaw requirement. And so the CR zone requires amenity space for residential buildings with 20 or more units. And so since our building only has 10 units, amenity space is not technically a bylaw requirement, and therefore it counts towards the GFA, and it brings the FSI up just a bit to 4.76. Next slide. So it's important to note with this application that there are no major changes to key components of the building, such as the height, setbacks, building length, and unit count. The indoor amenity space that's proposed effectively encloses the portion of the building that was previously approved as the green roof / outdoor amenity space and was ultimately intended to function as outdoor amenity for the residents. Next slide. So you'll note on the elevations that there's no windows proposed on either of the side walls of the indoor amenity space addition, just the window and door facing the rear yard. Next slide. So the proposed development aligns with the intent of the official plan, which is to encourage shared indoor and outdoor amenity spaces that considers the needs of residents throughout the year. And so outdoor amenity space is season and weather dependent. And so this proposal enables future tenants of the building to have access to amenity space all year, providing both indoor and outdoor amenity opportunities. From a privacy perspective, this proposal will actually reduce noise impacts on the surrounding neighbors by situating the majority of the amenity space indoors. And as I previously mentioned, we strategically located windows to minimize overlook impacts into the adjacent properties, as well as adding some privacy screening on the terrace as well. Next slide. So the design of the amenity space addition continues to meet the mid-rise guidelines, which typically prescribes a 7.5 meter setback to the rear wall of a 6-story building. In terms of the outdoor terrace, the proposed scale of the terrace does match the size of the previously approved rear-facing balconies for units 7 and 9. And once, as I said previously, we've incorporated privacy screening on both sides of the terrace to minimize overlook impacts. Next slide. Just one more, thank you. So overall, the proposed amenity space addition will enable full season amenity opportunities for future tenants, which aligns with city policies to create complete communities. The design of the addition and the location of the proposed windows maximizes privacy for adjacent properties and continues to align with the mid-rise design guidelines. In our opinion, the proposed requested FSI variance meets the 4 tests and represents good planning. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Panel, any questions? Dylan?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that the original plan, part of the reason for the green roof was because there's very limited like soft landscaping at the rear of the building, and also presumably a bit of a step back down to the nearby residential. So can you just speak to those? Is that correct? And that was what the previous?
Yeah, so the previous building, there were no soft landscaping variances required, and there's still no soft landscaping variances proposed here. Like I said before, in terms of the setback, so behind the building there is that rear laneway, and the setback from the rear wall of the amenity addition to the, I think, opposite side of the rear lane is 7.5 meters. So that meets the typical standards of the mid-rise design guidelines.
Right, I mean, originally, like, I think it was presumably as a compensation for the fact that it didn't meet a angular plane requirement. Is that correct?
I think that was something that was dealt with the previous approval. I think there was a decision form uploaded as well.
I was just looking at the plans, and previously, like, you know, it didn't meet the angular plane requirements, but, you know, I think probably the committee thought that because there's a little step back that, you know, compensates for that. But now you're trying to build all the way to the edge again?
I would like to note, so it is in a protected major transit station area for Broadview Avenue, right, and it's within, I think, 500 meters of the transit station. And so this type of density in the building proposed is aligned with the new policies that have been introduced.
Right.
I could agree, yes, I could agree that it is going beyond the angular plane, but
is the angular plane no longer relevant because of the major transit thing? That eliminated that requirement? Or the city has changed policies to no longer require angular planes? Yes,
and we've, again, tried to design the addition to match what's prescribed by the mid-rise design guidelines as well.
Right.
Okay, Anne?
And on the previous plan, what was the green roof? How much amenity space was there when it was a green roof?
I don't know off the top of my head. I'm not sure if you could go back to the presentation on the slide where I talk about the previous approval. The way that it's listed is green roof / outdoor amenity space. And so at that point, maybe it wasn't fully conceptualized to see what part of it was, let's say, chairs and tables and things like that versus what side's the green roof. But I do note that the city does allow, you know, in a typical requirement where this would have been, let's say, 20 units and amenity space was proposed, they do allow for 25% of a green roof to count towards outdoor amenity space. And so, again, I think it was designed to be flexible for the future tenants. And so with this proposal, the intention is to provide, full season amenity opportunities for the future tenants of the site.
Okay, anyone else? Don't see Gary, but, oh, there's Gary.
Yes, right.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Since there was one concern about noise in terms of the outside amenity space, could we cap that with some type of time limit, to say 10 p.m. or 11 p.m., just trying to avoid parties out there at sensitive hours?
Yeah, that's something we could for sure consider if that is something that you would like to see. But I will also note again, the size of the terrace that we're proposing is the exact same as what has been approved for the units at 7. So I think that's the 3rd story, and then unit 9, that's at the 4th story. So in terms of the scale of the outdoor terrace, it's pretty comparable with what's been approved. But again, we're happy to do that if that's what you'd like to see.
All right, thanks. I'll see what other panel members think on that. Thank you.
All right, so just about the green roof. So you're basically converting the green roof into amenity space.
So I'd like to, sorry, maybe it was a little bit confusing. It's listed as green roof / outdoor amenity
no, I get
space.
that. But there would have been some sort of plantings of some sort up there.
Yeah.
So you're eliminating that. Does your client have is there any opportunity to replace that green roof on the new roof that's
on
above?
top? I don't know if that's something that's been considered thus far. It's certainly something that they could potentially look into, but the current plans that are here today, there are no green roofs.
Yeah, I think Dylan makes a good point. I mean, I appreciate that the zoning didn't require soft landscaping in the rear because it's an apartment complex, presumably. But it's not inconceivable that the panel was sympathetic to your application, in part because there was some green roof to offset that lack of soft landscaping. And the elimination of the green roof then takes that whole thing out of play. So if we were to put a condition on that a comparable portion of the new roof be green roof that was approved previously, would your client be okay with that?
It's something I would have to discuss with them. I'm sure that if that's something that you'd like to see, they would be able to do that.
Yeah.
I just don't know if once you add that, that would change any the other components of the building, which could induce variances. So we've tried to construct this so it only has the one variance required.
Is there access to the roof where the elevator shaft comes up? I guess that's the only thing I'd be concerned about is access for maintenance.
Sorry, I'm just looking up the plans over here. Because there is a mechanical penthouse.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I mean, if there's a mechanical penthouse out there, then presumably there's a way to get up there. And that's the concern that I would have is we put a condition in for a green roof up there. Is there a way to have someone go up and check on it every once in a while?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to assume while you're doing that there's no major opposition to doing that.
Yeah, so I did look at the letter, and their concerns to me seemed like it was more related to the noise impacts of the outdoor terrace. And as I've said before, we're happy to put that condition to put a time limit on how long people could be outside in that outdoor terrace area to limit those noise impacts.
Yeah, and I don't dispute that. I think the issue is, is the panel concerned about the loss of the green space up there? And that's the only, given that there's very little soft landscaping on the property. That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm speaking for them, and they may have very different views, but I'm just trying to suss that out.
For sure. Yes, I appreciate your comments. And again, I'd like to say that there's no soft landscaping requirements for this lot within the zone. It's something that they did prior, and they'd like to change the amenity space to be more functional.
No, I totally understand that, but I'm just saying is there's a net loss of green in your proposal.
Sorry, I've just been made aware that the elevator does not go to the roof. So
Okay, so there's no access up there.
no, I don't believe so.
Okay, no, that I think solves that issue because we can't have a green roof where you don't have access. Okay. All right, any further questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's go into committee. Okay, thoughts? Dylan?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the original, first of all, I think this is overall a great building, right? Like, I think it's totally appropriate. It's great. You know, I'm glad to see this being built. It's in a difficult lot. I remember it coming to committee and, you know, but I feel that part of the reason the committee did approve it was specifically that there was the green roof and that also there's a bit of a step back at the back to, you know, reduce the impact on the rear. I understand that, of course, you know, zoning has changed, but I think that the current plan is a good one and well suited to the neighborhood. So I don't really see that enclosing it makes that big a difference. So I don't think I can support this one.
So you don't think you
can? Yeah. But I understand if, you know, other members can, I can, you know, I can see the arguments for it as well, but I feel like that the committee, that, you know, having the step back and the green roof was part of the appeal of the previous plan. And I don't really, I think that should be capped.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Katie?
Thank you for the clarifications around the previous green roof also being amenity space and that there were some elements of that were still to be determined as to how that was going to roll out. I think that pushing the outdoor amenity space directly to the rear edge of the building will in fact have additional impacts on adjacent neighbors, whereas if the outdoor space had been, you know, incorporated in different areas of the roof, there would be more privacy for neighbors. So that's a factor that I'm considering. I appreciate Gary's suggestion that we could perhaps mitigate that with some restrictions around operating hours. But I think I am also leaning towards this feeling just a little bit too big. And yeah, I think I'm in agreement with my colleague.
Okay, Anne?
Yeah, so I was of two minds about this one because the more impactful FSI decision was already made when the building was approved, and I think it is an appropriate building. But just on this issue, the loss of the green did trouble me, and there is the potential for connection of that green roof to the initial approval, sort of mitigating the size of the building and the impact on neighbors. So I think I'm also leaning toward liking the initial proposal better, not approving this one.
Okay. Gary, thoughts?
I'm really on the fence on this one, the chair, so I'll just listen to the other members. Thank you.
Okay. I was on this panel when it came. Were you on that one, Dylan?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I was on the earlier one that was deferred, but I don't think I was on the one that was
Okay. And I do remember a fairly robust discussion. I mean, my personal issue was the semi-detached nature of the proposal that, you know, we're putting a 6-story next to or with a party wall on an existing semi, and I recall that the owner of that property deputed sort of against the application, and we were convinced in part because Broadview has its own study and it is slated for considerable increases in density and height, and this didn't seem, given that new policy framework, didn't seem to be out of character with it. I so that was my biggest issue. There is a bit of an overlook challenge, but given that the previous application did contemplate some sort of active recreation on the top of the roof, it wasn't, while it was a green roof, it was sort of a semi-green roof in the sense that people would be able to go out on the green roof and sit and recreate and that sort of thing. So I think the committee had contemplated the concern about overlook and use. I don't have any problem, frankly, with the additional on the top. I do have a problem with the balcony, and that's my biggest concern. Balconies are often off bedrooms or living rooms, but you know, when a balcony is off an amenity space, it implies that there's going to be fairly active use of it. So you know, even though you put a restriction on it, you're not getting a family using it. You're giving access to that balcony for all 6 units. Which in my mind presents a slightly different perspective on its use than if it was a balcony off an individual unit. So I don't have any problem with the additional space on the top floor. I think having additional amenity space for 6 units is frankly a pretty good thing, given the lot constraints. There's no room for anyone to recreate outside on the lot. But I'm uncomfortable with the balcony. I guess that's where I'm coming from. Sorry, the point Gary was making was about you know, noise and that sort of thing. So if there were an option to change the plan or a condition that the balcony not be constructed, could I do that, Sabrina? Is that within our purview to prohibit the balcony? Or
Through
is that...
Mr. Chair, no. I mean, if it's as of right, we can't prohibit.
Okay. All right. All right, that's my thoughts. So, Dylan?
I'm happy to make a motion to refuse the variance.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Ms. Crawford, all in favor of that application? Opposed? I will oppose it because I think fundamentally it's a good thing, but the motion to refuse carries. Your application is refused.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Item number 7 was... We couldn't defer that, right? No? Okay. Item number 7. (34 Newman Avenue). This is an application to alter the existing rear 1-story detached ancillary building by constructing a complete 2nd-story addition with a side exterior staircase. The building will contain an existing garage on the ground level and a new one garden suite on the 2nd level. There'll be a total of 2 residential dwelling units on this lot. Committee has before it a copy of the plan survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. Revised site plan, floor plans, and elevations received April 23rd. A red line public notice received April 23rd. You have 3 photographs of trees on the subject property, a covering letter from the agent, email correspondence from the agent, and a copy of the zoning bylaw. There is email correspondence, staff report from Urban Forestry and from Community Planning. There is support from 44 Newman and a 12-signature petition in support from properties on Eastdale Avenue in Newman. There is correspondence in opposition from 30 Newman and 36 Newman.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online and 2 registered speakers.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing? My name is
Fine.
John Ramirez.
If you could speak, if you could get a little closer to the microphone, please.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
That's better. Thank you. Name and address.
John Ramirez from JR Home Designer Inc. My address is 285 Taunton Road, East Oshawa.
All right, sir. We'll need a presentation this morning.
Okay, I'll go ahead.
You want to do the redlining first?
Oh, right. Thank you, Dylan. Where is the red line? Is it in the subs?
I think it's supplemental.
Sir, before you do your presentation, could you just flag the changes you're making in the variances?
Yeah, so in variance number 3, where we've increased the side yard setback, which is the setback beside 30 Newman Avenue. We went from 0.04 meters to 0.65 meters. And on variance number 4, we pushed back the second-story garden suite. We had a setback from the garden suite to the main house. It was at 4.72 meters, and it got pushed back to 5.33 meters. And if you can scroll down to variance number 6, the interior floor area was reduced from 167.78 square meters down to 124.29 square meters.
All right, sir. We just have a bit of a point of clarification on variance number 4. Dylan?
Yeah, so variances number 3 and 4, I don't think you actually want to change those because you're not actually changing the location of the garage underneath, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Garage underneath is in the same place as it always has been.
Yeah, that is the garage, the second story.
So just to clarify, the variance is about the entire building, not just the garden suite. So we understand that you've set back the garden suite, and that's great, and we can incorporate a site plan thing to make sure that that's captured. But I don't think you want to change variances 3 and 4 because then you'd have to actually rebuild the garage, and I don't think that's your plan.
Yeah. Well, for number 3, I believe. Well, this was reviewed by the zoning examiner. I had a conversation.
Yeah, I know it was, but I think that they may have overlooked the fact that your garage is still the same size. We can change variance number 6, which is great. So that one I think we can change, but I don't think you want to change variances 3 and 4 because if we do that, you'll have to actually rebuild your garage.
Okay, well, we'll leave it as is, and we'll stick with the original variances. I guess I'll make it clear that the garden suite on the second story has been pushed back.
Yeah, and so variance 6 captures that, and so we'll change variance 6 as you've redlined it, which is great. Mm-hmm. And also we'll, if you're okay with it, we will tie if we approve it, we'll tie it to site plans, and that will capture the changes that you've made.
Okay. Okay, I'm okay with that.
All right, sir, thank you. Now we'll need your presentation, sir.
Sure. Okay, so we're here today in regards to a second story addition on an existing detached garage. We're just really adding a second unit to this property, which is well needed in the city. And we're not changing any of the footprint. We're not changing the neighborhood or building anything on the ground. So we're just using what has been there for many years. The garage at the back of the property has been there for decades. We are not touching any ground floor. It stays as a garage. We simply are adding this second floor to accommodate a small garden suite. Now about the variances, most of them aren't caused by what we're proposing today. A lot of it has to do with the existing garage footprint and the existing house. The garage was built decades ago at 83.89 square meters, which is already larger than the main house at 77.57 square meters. We initially proposed the second story garden suite to just be built directly over the existing garage, but going back and forth with planning, we made these reductions to accommodate their concerns and the concerns on the neighbors. One of the neighbors at 30 Newman Avenue had a concern that we were going to be having to access his property to work. So we push the second story in by 0.61 meters to accommodate our workers to work safely on our side, on our property. The lot coverage, again, it still remains the same at 25%. And I know that the neighbors at 30 Newman and the neighbor at 36 Newman had some concerns regarding emergency access. And I believe they had concerns about just having another unit on the property. But as you can see on the site plan and you can see on the pictures, we have a complete driveway that would give plenty of space for emergency access if there were any sort of emergency. To wrap up, we've been working closely with the city planner, the application technicians, and for several weeks. We submitted revised drawings, updated variances report, and revised notices. And so we feel that what we've proposed today meets the four tests of the Planning Act. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Great, thank you, sir. Maybe we'll go to our speakers first.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, name and address, please, sir.
Okay, thank you. It's David Sims. I live at 30 Newman Avenue, which is next door to 34 Newman. There is no 32 Newman Avenue.
All right, sir, you have 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, there's two remaining issues we have with this project. Firstly, I don't believe that this is a minor variance. This isn't a typical two-car residential garage. It's a huge 30 by 30 commercial industrial size garage. Even with the reduction in size of the proposed second story, the living area of the garden suite is 73 meters squared, 22% larger than the bylaw maximum of 60 meters squared. I reviewed other Committee of Adjustment decisions from this year. There were a total of 35 laneway suites or garden suites that were reviewed. Only 3 of them were of a similar or larger size. 908 Manning, which was refused by the Committee of Adjustment, 97 Alcinda, and 80 Megan, which were accepted, but were on much larger lots with much larger separations between the primary dwelling and the garden suite. So on the face of it, as a non-expert, this does not seem like a minor variance to me. Second issue is fire department access. On the site plan that Mr. Ramirez submitted, there's an indicated 0.9 meter wide fire department or emergency access path running along the south side of the single car driveway. The driveway at 34 Newman Avenue is in effect a channel between the house and the retaining wall separating it from my property at 30 Newman. If there are vehicles parked in the driveway, it's not possible to maintain that 0.9 meter wide access path along the south side of the driveway. The proponent of this project has 4 large vehicles, 2 large SUVs, and 2 commercial vehicles. Typically, 2 or 3 of these vehicles are parked in the driveway, and one of them is parked fully beside the house. So I have a real concern about that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Panel, any questions of the speaker? Nope. Thank you very much, sir. Our next speaker.
That's me.
Hi.
Hi.
Name and address, please, sir.
I keep getting a thing saying I'm muted. I'm unmuted. Am I unmuted?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good. By the way, I'm only on phone. I have no visuals, so.
All right. Name and address, please, sir.
Yes, Don Melton, 36 Newman Avenue.
All right, you have 5 minutes.
Okay, first of all, I'll just reiterate the comments from 30 Newman. I had them in my concerns as well. In addition to that, I have some concerns about the issue of desirable use. I mean, the neighborhood is not lacking in available accommodations. There's a proposal for a 546-unit apartment building just a block and a half away, like on the other side of Eastdale. So I'm not sure that the argument that adding a two-bedroom, one-bedroom garden suite adds significantly to the housing market, and it warrants the kind of variances that we're looking at. So that was one issue. Another one is that the density of the area. Already, the main building today is subdivided into a rental unit in the basement and a main unit on top. So effectively, this will be three places for people to live. I don't know if they're specifically units or not, but so there will be more people living there than there are now. And I had one more thing that wasn't in my letter. Am I allowed to bring that up?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, it's just if you look at the north elevation, I'm on the north side, and the north elevation of the building, you'll see that there's a stairway that goes up, and the main entrance to the building, the stairway that goes up, and this is right next to it fills the back half of my backyard. Clearly, there's going to have to be lighting on there, and I want to make sure that when lighting is installed, that's installed to keep light trespass from my building. I've had conversations with the owner, and he's managed to fix some of them about light trespass in the past, and I don't want to see it encouraged again. So basically, the thing is going to be big, and it's going to block sunlight in my backyard. But if it passes as a garden suite, I understand that the rules for garden suites are pretty lenient these days. So those were the only things I really had.
All right, thank you, sir. Panel, any questions? No, thank you very much, sir. All right, I think we can bring the agent back.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, yep.
Yeah, if I may, I would like to respond to the neighbors' concerns. I think in regards to the emergency access, not only do we have a full driveway width that we reserved an additional 0.9 meters for any sort of emergency that needs to walk through, but we also have another 0.9 meters on the other side of the house that gives us access as well to the back. You'll see it on the survey or the site plan. And I think, just in regards to the tenants being there, this house is not legalized. It's a single family dwelling. They do have family from Vancouver that it's a student who studies at U of T that rents with the family that is proposing this application, but it is a family member, so it's not a legal secondary unit by any means. And this unit here, this garden suite that they're building, is for the homeowner who will be moving into this garden suite, so his mom can move into the main house. which is mainly due to her age, and she needs more care. This is not going to be for the public, but just wanted to give you a perspective of who's going to be staying on this property, which is all family. I would just like to show one picture. I think I uploaded it was uploaded on Monday, just to show you the driveway now. I think you've already seen it because I know 30 Newman showed the driveway being full with garbage and stuff, but they are in the process of cleaning things up and getting prepared for construction, and they are going to be removing all the items there so that there isn't any issues for emergency access. And I guess if there is any issues down the road, the homeowner at 30 Newman can make a complaint. And oh yeah, and my last point, we did add more soft landscape at the back. If you look at the survey, it was all asphalt driveway, even behind the main house and between the garden suite, it was all asphalt. All that is, I think, like, we've added how much square feet? I think it's about 300 square feet of soft landscaping that would be back there, just to accommodate more green space.
Okay, thank you, sir. Your neighbor at number 36 raised an interesting point about lights. Have you got any thoughts about how you might be able to accommodate? I think he's got a legitimate point.
Yeah, that can easily be done with a sensor light. So if nobody's there, it will turn off, and whenever it's in use, it would turn on and then turn off again when they enter the unit.
Yeah, and I think if you were to put something in that would be downcast, as opposed to pointing somewhere offensive right next to the neighbor, would be helpful.
Yeah, we can put that as a condition if that.
Now, it's not really a condition. It's not really related to a variance necessarily, so we can't do it a condition. But I think maybe your acknowledgement in this public forum might give number 36 some comfort.
Yeah, most definitely. We'll make sure that's taken care of.
Okay. All right, panel. Any questions of the agent? No. All right. Let's go into committee. Who wants to take this one? Katie?
I can start with a couple comments. I'm having technical issues again, so I don't have visual in front of me, but I just wanted to start by saying my main concern about this application had been the size ratio between the main dwelling and the ancillary residential structure. I think that the red line notice has more or less addressed that for me. I think it was about a 4 meter square difference at this point. So I think that I can support this application, but I'm very interested to hear other people's thoughts.
Okay, anyone else? Dylan?
Yeah, I think overall this is a good application, a good use of the space that's available. It makes sense to build it on the garage. I do appreciate the adjustments. I do think that they, even if the structure itself is no longer is the same distance, having the second level step back a little bit from the main building, I think does help and does kind of bring it closer to the intent of the bylaw. And so I think it's supportable. I think that the driveway concern is a concern, but you know, there is a big garage there, so it's up to the homeowner to make sure that emergency access remains available. And that may involve not parking as many vehicles in that driveway, but that is something that you know, is up to the homeowner to comply with. So I think it's supportable as well.
All right.
I would definitely put the planning condition that ties it to the revised site plan. I would definitely include that.
Okay. Anyone else before we go to a motion? All good? I would just note, I mean, the soft landscapes is a little bit light, but I think I take the agent's point that it's a significant improvement from the existing condition. So that's a positive, I think. All right, Dylan, then I'll ask you maybe do a motion.
Katie, want to do it?
Oh,
I'm still in the middle of some technical issues, so go ahead.
Katie wanted to hear from you.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve these variances as revised with forestry condition number 2 and with the planning condition that ties it to the site plan.
And I just note the issue about...
maybe we can, for the record, that
the agent has agreed to do something with respect to the lighting.
The agent has agreed to mitigate the light impact on the neighbor.
That's good. Okay.
Mr. Chair, we can do that. And the amended application is just to variance number 6.
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Motion by Mr. Reed to that effect. Do I have a seconder? Ms. Crawford? All in favor? That is approved. Thank you. All right. We will move on to item number 8. 28 Sword Street. This is an application to construct a 1-story detached 2-car garage in the rear yard abutting the laneway. Committee has before it a copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 7 photographs of subject property. We have correspondence from Urban Forestry and support from 26 Sword Street right next door.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online.
All right. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Oh, excellent. So I'm actually Rebecca's father. I'm sorry about the confusion with the registration to speak. She is in a jury selection today.
All right. She'd probably rather be here. Can I have your name and address, please, sir?
Tony Vatisse. I'm at 876 Whittier Crescent, Mississauga.
All right. Sir, this looks like a fairly straightforward application. Anyone need a presentation? No, we don't need a presentation. So you're off the hook, sir.
Wow.
We've read your application. It's fairly straightforward. Is there anything you'd like to share with us before we take it for a decision?
It would be much appreciated. We help her out there a lot, so we come in frequently. So this would really help us to do stuff around her house.
Okay, that sounds like good dad support. Any questions, panel? No, thank you. All right, let's take it into committee. Who wants this one? Gary, you want to take this one?
Sure, I will. Yes, I'm prepared to move approval of this application. I think the tests are met here and subject to urban forestry condition number 2. So I move approval. Yeah.
All right, motion by Mr. McKay to approve, seconded by Ms. Crawford. All in favor? You have your approval, sir. Thank you very much. Okay, move on to item number 9, 54 Wright Avenue. This is an application to alter the existing 3-story detached dwelling by constructing a new covered front porch with stairs, a front 2nd-story addition with a 3rd-story balcony above, a rear at-grade patio, a rear 2nd-floor deck with stairs, and a rear 3rd-story bay window. Also to convert the existing front integral garage into habitable space and to permit 1 front yard parking pad. Committee has before it copy plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, revised zoning notice received April 27th, a red line public notice from the agent April 27th, 5 photographs of trees, 5 photographs of the subject property, covering letters from the agent. We have staff reports from community planning and transportation review, and 2 form letters in support from 12 and 56 Wright Street.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online.
There's also a red line.
Yes, thanks. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Name and address, please.
I'm Brian Haygood. I'm the architect and agent for this application. My address is 46 Ritchie Avenue.
Great, sir. So you have amended your application. You're removing a variance?
That's right. We looked at the feedback from transportation and planning. We're happy to remove the parking space variance that we're requesting. That was to basically to maintain a parking space that's already there. But we're happy to take that out. There were some conditions that transportation had listed. We feel taking out The parking space no longer necessitates those conditions. So we basically at this point just ask for you to approve the rather small floor space variance request, I think, that we're asking for without any conditions.
All right, so just, excuse me, for clarification purposes, so you're retaining the driveway? Or are you?
We will no longer be able to use it as a driveway. We cannot park. We're going to enclose the garage.
Yeah.
And we understand that that means we will no longer be able to park in what will become the former driveway.
Right. So does that then change the, I mean, do you not then require a front yard soft landscaping variance?
Since this has just happened in the past few days, we were, since it will become front yard without a driveway, we will revise our front yard plan so that we have sufficient soft landscaping to meet what is required by zoning.
Okay, so I don't know what the variance, what the bylaw would say, what percentage is the front yard parking spots, but it would.
I believe it's 75%.
So you'd have to pull all that concrete and replace that with soft landscaping. I mean, otherwise you won't get a building permit if you do in fact need a variance, or otherwise you have to comply with the zoning, right?
That's right. Yeah, we understand that we have to comply with zoning for that.
Okay.
Through you, Mr. Chair. If the proposal is to convert the integral garage into habitable space, are they not required to provide a parking space on site?
Oh, there's a parking. Sir, did you hear that? So
have they looked into that?
Does the bylaw require providing a parking spot for your property?
I thought that was no longer a requirement for zone R to have parking provided.
Through you, Mr. Chair, if he wants to move forward with that, and then at the time of building permit, it comes to light that another variance is required, then they will be back before Committee of Adjustment with a new application for lack of parking on site.
Well, could we, if a variance is required, sorry, I don't think that one is, but if one was required, could we have permission not to have a parking space on this property?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that would have to come through as a new minor variance application for consideration. Not sure if the applicant wants to defer the application at this time to ensure that all variances have been captured.
So it's up to you, sir. I think what it comes down to, given that there is a degree of uncertainty, there's some risk to you. We just don't know what the zoning on that street would require. It may, as you say, maybe you don't require parking, but
no, we don't. I just quickly checked that it's not required for.
Okay. So the zoning on that
I'm not
street,
concerned about it. We can move forward.
Okay, and so again, you simply have to make sure you comply with the front yard landscaping bylaw as well. Okay. All right. Any questions, panel?
I just want to confirm. So you're saying that your plan is to replace most of the front driveway with soft landscaping?
Yes, what's needed to suit.
Okay. Okay.
He said it was 75%.
Right. Okay. Cool. I just wanted to make sure because that was also the transportation condition, but we don't need to apply that because in order to get a building permit, you'll need to meet that standard anyway. The transportation may also require you to eliminate your curb cut at your own expense. Just as a heads up, you're aware that that might be something transportation asks you to do?
Yes, we're aware.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, anyone else?
I apologize, there are two registered speakers for this item.
Oh, yep.
They're in support.
Is there what?
Those are letters of support.
Through you, Mr. Chair, they're the owners of the property.
Oh,
So we
okay.
don't need to hear from them.
That's going to assume they support the application. All right. Any further questions? I see none. Let's go into committee. Dylan?
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, I'm not usually supportive of front yard parking, but in this case, it would have been, it's already there. I wouldn't have objected to it. But, I know the transportation wouldn't allow it. So, that's that. And generally, I think it's a good idea to be getting rid of integral garages, especially in the downtown area. I'm supportive. And I think it was important to clarify that the applicant was fully aware of the consequences, and it seems like they are. So I think that I'm comfortable with moving forward with this one.
The transportation report talks about a condition. I mean, it's removing the curb cut, but also restoring the land in the city boulevard with soft landscaping, not the private property. So we might want to have that condition in.
No, that's a fair point. Yes, if it's speaking to the
boulevard.
The boulevard, then yes, I think we should apply that.
Okay. All right. I think the only thing is that a motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will make a motion to approve of the variance with the transportation condition to obtain a paving permit to restore the obsolete driveway within the city boulevard to soft landscaping.
Okay.
As amended.
As amended.
Purpose and removing variance number 1.
As amended, purpose and removing variance number 1.
Through you, Mr. Chair, is there a condition for front yard parking or front yard landscaping?
I don't think
we have to. I think in order to get a building permit, he'd have to comply, right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and I don't know what he said it's 75%, but let's make sure that that's correct. All right, motion by Mr. Wright, or Mr. Reed.
Mr. Reed on Wright Avenue.
Seconded by Ms. Plazer. All in favor? You have your approval. Thank you. Okay. Item number 10 is 85 Linwood Ave. This is an application to convert the existing rear one-story detached garage into a one-story garden suite by constructing a side addition. There'll be a total of 2 residential dwelling units on this lot. Committee has before it a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 5 photographs of trees, 5 photographs on the subject property, covering letter from the agent, previous decision number affecting the subject property, tree protection plan, and we have staff report from Urban Forestry.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online.
Okay.
Hello. So I'm Victor Kam, and I'm the owner of 85 Linwood Avenue. Yeah. So, morning, Chairman and members of the committee. Is there anything I should present?
Well, it's up to you. Does anyone need a presentation on this one? We don't really need a presentation today, but if there's anything you'd like to share with the panel before we make a decision, we're happy to hear from you.
I don't really have anything in particular to add, other than the fact that, our in-laws are getting a little bit older, and we like them to have a more comfortable living area. So having the garden suite would greatly help with in that regard. But that's really all we have. All I have to say.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, any questions, panel?
Okay.
Gary?
Yeah, just with respect to the variance 2, then, just dealing with the ancillary building. So it's quite close to the rear south lot line, 0.05. Any ability just to widen that distance a little bit between the ancillary building and the rear lot line?
Right. So I think currently the garage is pretty much exactly at, also extremely close to the existing it pretty much borders our neighbor. And so I think we're trying to keep the garage the way it is without having to tear down the walls to, basically we're trying to make a minimal amount of modifications. We kind of talked, so I talked to my neighbor on, that was, is that Clarendon or is it Warren? Oh, basically, you know, the neighbor that right behind our backyard. And, you know, we talked about the modifications we're making and
yep, good.
And I don't think he had any issues with that. Our next door neighbor, not next door neighbor, sorry, the next door neighbor to the neighbor right behind our backyard, he was saying that like he was talking about how there used to be an angular requirement to these kind of structures.
Okay, but that's it's kind of a separate issue then. But you're saying because you're not willing to draw in part of the rear part of the garage, this is essentially existing, and you're going to leave it at that. Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? No other questions. All right. Thank you, sir. We'll take it into committee for a decision. Katie, your technical issues resolved?
50% there.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for checking. I think that this is a really solid application. 3 variances for a 1-story garden suite seems very reasonable to me. I think the explanation about wanting more accessible space makes a lot of sense. So I'd move approval of this project with urban forestry condition number 2.
All right. Motion by Ms. Plazer to approve. I have a seconder. Ms. Crawford, all in favor? You have your approval. Thank you, sir. Okay, we move on. Item number 11 was deferred.
Yep.
Move to item number 12 was also deferred.
Yes.
And item 13 is 190 Westlake Avenue. This is an application to construct a new 2-story detached houseplex with cantilevered second story at the rear portion of the building, a covered front porch with stairs, a front box bay window, a side ground floor canopy, and a rear ground floor covered terrace with stairs. Also to alter the existing rear 1-story detached ancillary building abutting Orley Avenue by constructing an addition at the north and east sides of the building. There will be 2 residential dwelling units on this lot, both in the main dwelling. Committee has before it a copy plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 7 photographs of the subject property with correspondence and support from 2526 Orley Avenue and 188 Westlake.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online.
Okay.
All right. Good morning. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Chair and committee members. My name is Arash Bahamin. I'm the agent of 190 Westlake Avenue, and my address is 5409 Yonge Street, Toronto.
Great, thank you, sir. Panel, does anyone want a presentation on this one? I think we're okay. Sir, we've read your application. We're familiar with the material. It seems a fairly straightforward proposal. We don't need a presentation today. Is there anything you'd like to share with us before we take it in for a decision?
No, thank you again for your time. I just wanted to note that we received another letter of support from the community and neighborhood, which was uploaded to extra late materials for your reference. You may want to see there as well. Thank you so much.
All right. Panel, any questions of the agent? None. All right. Let's take it into committee. Dylan.
Yeah, this is, I think this is a really good use of a corner lot to create a duplex. The design is really nice. It really takes advantage of the location. The applicant has talked to all his neighbors and made sure they're okay with it, which is great. You know, the neighbors have no concerns. overall, I don't think that the variances have any significant impact. So I am more than happy to move approval of this without any conditions.
All right, motion by Mr. Reid to approve, seconded by Mr. McKay. All in favor? You have your approval, sir. Thank you very much.
Can we take a 5-minute break?
You want a 5-minute break? Yep.
Members, please turn off your videos, microphones. Please mute the room.
Thank you, sir.
For example, I have a question. So when I'm gonna speak for the record, so I don't need to mention these people that is here,
No.
just, right? And
No.
then this one, I mention like one person.
Yeah, so are they both?
Really look. Okay, but it's okay. There can be an
Yes. At the time. Hope that we get an early lunch.
I
We're
hope
almost there.
Yes, I hope to. Yeah, we are almost there. I thought it would take longer. It takes longer. OAIT?
Members, please turn on your videos, microphones. We'll unmute the room.
Gary, you ready to go?
I am, Larry. Thank you. Ready to go.
All right. Sabrina, we good? Okay. All right. We will continue with item number 14, 11 Oakmount Road. This is an application to alter the existing three-story detached dwelling by constructing a rear third-story dormer addition with a rooftop patio above the existing sunroom addition. Committee has before it a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 10 photographs of trees on the subject property with staff report from TTC and correspondence and support from no address provided. We have 2 form letters in support from 5 and 15 Oakmount Road.
For you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online.
Okay. Good morning.
Committee, it's Dave Moscal here. I'm the agent for the owner at 14 Augustus Terrace.
All right, sir, I don't think we're going to need a presentation on your application. It's fairly straightforward. We've read your material. We're familiar with it. We may have questions, but is there anything you'd like to share with the panel before we do that?
Just the letter to the north of this property. We got a letter from the leasee who has a. They use the building as a child daycare. It's for 9 years, and she is the founder and the owner of that company. But we did not get a letter from the owner, like the legal owner. But that building is only used from 9 to 6 o'clock during the weekdays, and on weekends it's vacant. There's nobody that lives there. It's just a business, to give you more clarity.
Sorry, sir, what letter are you referring to?
That would be for 15 Oakmount Road.
Do we have that? Oh, we do have a form letter. Yeah. That's in support though, right?
Oh, yes. She's in support, and she's the tenant.
Okay.
Of 9 years.
I thought you were referring to maybe a letter of opposition that we weren't aware of, but that's fine. No. That's a letter of support.
Correct. And across the building, it's a 30-story apartment building.
Okay. All right, panel, anyone have any questions? Is the
rooftop patio,
is it screened at all?
No, but we can provide a screen on either north or south side, yes.
Yeah, I think that might not be a bad idea because you are overlooking your neighbors. So which sides would you put it on?
I would put it on the south side because that has the greater impact to the two residential units that are occupied during, the days and weekends.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. Panel, any other questions? No? All right, thank you. We'll take it into committee. Anyone want to take this one? Nobody? Gary?
Okay, Chair. All right, I'll move approval of this application. It's just a single variance. Feel that it's reasonable in the circumstances. So I would move approval subject to screening being installed on the south side of the dwelling.
Did you say south side? You did say south side? Okay. All right, thank you.
Yes.
There's also TTC.
There's TTC conditions, Gary?
Well, I had noticed that sometimes asking for a technical review, who knows? But anyway, sure, subject to a TTC review if required.
Okay. All right, motion by Mr. McKay, I have a seconder. Ms. Plazer, all in favor? You have your approval. Thank you, sir. Move on to item number 15, 188 PAPE Avenue. This is an application to construct a new one-story detached ancillary building containing a two-car garage in the rear yard abutting the laneway. Committee has before it a copy of plan and survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 2 photographs of the subject property, previous decision number affecting the subject property. We have correspondence and support from 97 Boston Avenue.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online.
All right. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. You have Mark Lederman from 188 PAPE Avenue. I am the owner.
All right, this is a fairly minor application, sir. I don't think we're going to need a presentation today. Is there, we've read your application, we're familiar with the material. Is there anything you'd like to share with the panel before we take it in for a decision?
Other than I did provide late a presentation of very similar properties within a 1 kilometer radius, but otherwise, no. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions, panel? See no questions. Okay, thank you very much, sir. We'll take it in for a decision. Who wants this one? Katie?
Thank you, Chair. I think this is very straightforward, as you've said. We're just talking about 2 variances here. It doesn't trigger any rear yard landscaping variances at all, so I'm happy to move a motion to approve.
All right, motion by Ms. Plazer to approve, seconded by Mr. Reed. All in favor? You have your approval, sir. Thank you very much. Okay, we move on to item number 16, 20 Edgar Ave. This is an application to alter the existing 2.5-story detached dwelling by constructing a rear 3rd-story dormer addition, a new rear 2-story addition with a rooftop garden, a rear basement extension for the purposes of below-grade parking structure with 2 parking spaces, a rear ground floor covered patio with an outdoor kitchen, and a rear in-ground swimming pool. The existing rear 1-story semi-detached garage will be demolished. Committee has before it a copy plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, revised site plan, floor plans, and elevations received April 24th, 5 photographs of trees on the subject property, a covering letter from the agent, a driveway operations review letter, an arborist report, and the presentation materials from the agent. We have staff reports from community planning, heritage review, and urban forestry. We have correspondence and opposition from 145 Douglas, 22 Edgar, 141 Douglas, and 16 Edgar.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent in person for registered speakers.
Okay, good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Name and address, please.
Michael Cara. I'm legal counsel for the applicant in this matter. My address is 5255 Yonge Street, Suite 1101, Toronto, Ontario, M2N 6P4.
Great, thank you, sir. All right, as you can see, we have some folks who want to speak to this item, so I'll need a presentation.
Thank you. If you could pull up my presentation materials before we begin, and I don't know if you're still experiencing technical difficulties. I do have a hard copy. Okay. All right, thank you. As mentioned, I'm legal counsel for the applicant, and I'm joined today by my clients and their sons who are also here. I have limited time with you this morning, and with that in mind, I'd like to focus my attention on 3 important points regarding the merits of the proposal. If you could begin with slide 2. The first point is that this application has been the subject of an extensive public engagement process, both with city staff and neighborhood residents. The process was highly iterative and included proactive outreach, several group meetings and one-on-one meetings with interested neighbors, and multiple rounds of revisions to address comments received. And those considerable efforts have culminated in the proposal that is before you today. If you could jump to slide 3. Thanks to those efforts, the application is proceeding with no objections from planning staff, from heritage staff, and urban forestry. My client appreciates the efforts that have been made by staff, and I can confirm that we are supportive of the 3 requested conditions of approval. The second point is that my clients have made a very conscious effort to deliver a sensitive design that is mindful of the existing context. There are several examples that I can highlight to demonstrate this, starting with the heritage components of the proposal. If you could jump to slide 4. The first step in the design process was to undertake a thorough review of the heritage policies to establish parameters for redevelopment. Informed by that analysis, the design was reverse engineered with heritage conservation at the forefront. I would note the applicant is proposing to retain all heritage features identified by heritage staff. We're proposing full conservation of the front facade of the building, as you can see on the screen, as well as significant portions of the side elevations. The proposal is limited to a rear addition, which allowed the applicant to protect the integrity and prominence of the existing structure. The rear addition has also been designed to match the brick and materiality of the retained building. If you could please turn to slide 5. The tree preservation is another example of the sensitive design. There are several large mature trees located on the property, and it's important to note that the proposal is not predicated on the removal of any of the existing trees, city or private. This is a deliberate part of the design and was intended to protect the existing tree canopy. The added benefit is that the preserved trees will continue to act as a visual buffer between property lines, helping to ensure continued privacy. That brings me to my third point, which involves the bylaw relief. If you could turn to slide 6. Firstly, it's important to note that the proposal is fully compliant with the bylaw in many respects. The front yard setback, both side yard setbacks, lot coverage, floor space index, height, front and back landscaping, all of these are features that are in accordance with the bylaw standards. What remains before you is just 3 variances, which relate to depth, length, and rear yard setback. But if we take a closer look, you'll see that the numbers identified on the variance list do not tell the full story. The way the bylaw was interpreted, each variance was measured to the north limit of the below-grade garage, being the red dashed line at the top of the visual. However, this feature is entirely below grade and therefore would not even be visible from the public realm. The actual rear addition is shaded in red, as you can see, and is very comparable to the green shaded area, which is the building length that is permitted as of right by the bylaw. If you could please turn to slide 7. Again, here you can see that the depth is being calculated to an underground point. The building itself is actually only 23.9 meters at its deepest point, and this actually represents a pinch point with much of the rear addition pulled back even further. If you could turn to slide 8. And this might be the most telling example of how the variances are quite technical in nature. Under the bylaw, the permitted rear setback is that green dashed line at the top, and the rear yard setback of the addition is actually 8 meters greater than required under the bylaw. In my submission committee, for this application, the context behind the variances really helps to reveal the appropriateness of the design, as you can see on your screen. Finally, with respect to vehicular access, if you could turn to slide 9, the driveway design was based on consultation with BA Group, our client's transportation consultant. Their technical analysis included an extensive review of turning movements, and to be conservative, was conducted using a Dodge Caravan, which ranks at the 95th percentile in terms of vehicle size. And importantly, their report concluded that the proposal will result in better sight lines and safer vehicular movements to and from the properties. And it's also worth noting that transportation staff reviewed this proposal and had no concerns. In conclusion, I would submit that the 3 variances meet the applicable tests under Section 45(1) of the Planning Act and should be approved by this committee, subject to the 3 conditions of approval requested by staff, all of which we are entirely supportive of.
Great, thank you, sir. I think we'll hold our questions until we hear from our speakers. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
There's some folks here. I'm going to ask you to go back into the gallery, sir. Thank you. Who wants to start? All right. I'm going to need names and addresses, please.
I'll start. William Mockler, 183 Wellington Avenue West, Toronto, Ontario.
Thank you, sir. Who's next?
Yes, so my name's Rodney Gill. I'm legal counsel for both the owners of 22 Edgar as well as 16 Edgar. Okay. My address is 195 St. Patrick Street in Toronto.
Okay. You, sir?
Bob Dorrance, the owner of 22 Edgar Avenue.
Okay, great. All right, you have 5 minutes. Are you all three speaking, or is there a spokesman?
Through you, Mr. Chair. You're each individually speaking,
correct?
Right? So I'm going to ask if you want to start, but you're not in camera right now, so you'll have to move to the middle.
You see?
And then, yeah, we'll have each one speak for 5 minutes. Okay?
Thanks. All right, sir. You have 5. Is a button on?
There we go.
There you go.
Thank you for your important work on this committee, Mr. Chair and committee members. It's really important what you do, the protection of established neighborhoods and the livability of our city. I'm an advisor to the owners of 22 Edgar Avenue to assist them in understanding the proposed plans. I will use my time to speak to my experience working on buildings and construction projects in North Rosedale. I will speak to process, impacts, and what can be achieved within the as-of-right permissions usually, or with truly minor variances. I note that the views of neighbors are amply expressed in the written submissions to the committee. I'm a founding partner in an architectural firm. I've designed and worked on 32 projects in Rosedale, North Rosedale, one of Toronto's better established neighborhoods. Most of the projects were additions to the rears of existing homes and renovations over the past 30 years, 3 of which are on this specific neighborhood block: 4 Edgar, 22 Edgar, and 148X Roxborough Drive. In my experience, owners in North Rosedale are able to achieve wonderful outcomes with substantial homes in keeping with the character of North Rosedale while working with the zoning performance standards and, where appropriate, obtaining minor variances from them. In cases where minor variances were to be sought, the architects in our firm worked to try to follow this process that I'm going to outline following very quickly to achieve outcomes that obtain broad support in the community. Here's what our process entailed. After preliminary drawings and trying to meet clients' wishes, 1, we met with Heritage about our preliminary drawings and elicit their comments. For example, whether to make the additions modern and distinct or make additions in the character and spirit of the existing home, even when there are no minor variances. 2, prepare a revised conceptual design satisfying our clients and Toronto Heritage Department's advice. 3, meet affected neighbors with revised conceptual design and try to achieve agreement that a good scheme has been produced. 4, prepare detailed drawings reflecting client, heritage, and neighbors' concerns. 5, meet again with the client, heritage, and neighbors with final drawings. And finally, apply to the Committee of Adjustment to ask neighbors to submit letters of support or letters of no objection. In my experience, following the process led to proposals that fit the heritage character of North Rosedale and having any proposed minor variances meet the 4 tests of the Planning Act. In this case, the applicant submitted detailed drawings to the City of Toronto for first zoning review on 19 December 2025, but they first met with the owners of 22 Edgar, their immediate neighbors, in March 2026, after the C of A application was made on the 4th of March 2025. In the end, as you have read and you are hearing this morning, there remain many neighbors' concerns with this proposal and the minor variances that are neither, in their opinion, minor nor meeting the 4 tests. The comments and concerns of neighbors are a useful check and balance on whether a proposal is fitting the prevailing type of development in a neighborhood. The design and built form of the applicant's proposal starts with the applicant's desire to have a ramp down to an underground parking garage and dwelling space. This is largely a multi-unit type of solution or large lot solution to parking arrangements. It's not respectful of the specific site, character, and context of this North Rosedale neighborhood. It creates significant impacts on the immediate neighbors and would be concerning as a precedent for North Rosedale. That is what the community is telling this committee, and I hope the committee hears it well. I would only like to address one issue, and that is in the previous statement. It was said that no trees are being removed. 3 trees are being removed, and that information can be found on the architect's site plan. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir, thank you very much. Just for clarity, sure. You're speaking on
As
behalf
an advisor for the applicant.
On behalf of number 22?
That's correct.
Okay, so thank you very much. Any questions of the speaker? I'm going to invoke some protocol and ask we go to 22 since you spoke on their behalf. Okay. Sir, did you?
Sure, I had the only thing I guess that I had and asked Mr. Mockler to speak on our behalf because he was involved with the renovation that we had done to our house in 2007, 2008. We followed his process. And the process that he was outlining was to go through all those steps to ensure that we had the support of the neighbors prior to applying for any variances.
Okay, I'm sorry for making this inconvenient, but I'm gonna ask you to switch seats with
all right.
Just because we want to see your picture on camera, if that's okay. Oh, you can see both? Well, you're there anyways. Sit down, because I have a question. Are you finished your remarks, sir?
I am.
I've heard you and your colleague talk about sort of the more broad general concerns of this application. You're next door. What do you see as being the specific impact of this application on you and your property?
The extension of the wall that is a impediment to the beyond what is the normal course of what exists on our street. So that wall, which is large, blocks both light and the visual sighting that we have when we're in our patio in the backyard, right, or where we're in our kitchen, etc. Also, when I walk the streets, and I walk the streets of our neighborhood a lot, because it's a nice neighborhood to walk in, you don't see the visual impact of an extension to the rear that from the street. You see garages or you see a fence, but you don't see, a 30-foot building that is now visible from the street. So, I think it's not in the character of the North Rosedale neighborhood or of the Edgar Avenue, the street that we bought our house to have that experience in.
Right. So your major concern from your perspective is light and shading, and you are directly east?
I'm to the east,
To the east of this building.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Panel, any questions? Thank you very much, sir. I'm going to ask you to switch chairs again. All right. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Through you to the rest of the committee. There's a few points that I'd like to address related to the presentation from the applicants. But fundamentally, this is a neighborhood that's very well established in Toronto. It's very mature, stable, and it's also protected by a heritage conservation district for more than 20 years. The city has implemented official plan policies related to protecting heritage conservation districts, and it's meant to maintain and conserve those heritage conservation districts in accordance with Parks Canada's standards and guidelines. Those standards and guidelines have been adopted by the City of Toronto, and they form part of what we need to be aware of. It speaks to Parks Canada standards and guidelines, as well as the city's official plan, to spatial organization and spatial impacts of changes within a heritage conservation district. And those matters can both go to built form, introducing new elements. And that's what I want to draw your attention to with respect to the applicant's presentation. What they're characterizing as the proposal is something that's primarily below grade. I believe I heard the word technical with respect to the variances. Our perspective on that is different because you can both see what Mr. Dorrance was speaking to in terms of that large addition. You're going to see it on the east side of that property, and you'll see the visual. So they actually cropped it out of their presentation materials, but when you're going to look at the front of this house, you're going to actually see that rear addition at the full 2-story height. In addition, you're going to see this parking garage entrance, this below-grade ramp. And part of the spatial organization of this property on Edgar is you see this harmony between the existing garages. It's not happenstance that there's a common driveway with rights of way with similar garages. These garages were built at the same time to give this aesthetic look to North Rosedale and these particular properties. And when we're talking about this below grade work and things like this, and I believe they put up the statistics showing like below grade, the length and depth are, over 30 meters, but when you're talking, the above grade elements, it's closer to what other approvals are in this North Rosedale area. We'd like to bring to your attention, and just to give you the visual, I'm about 6 feet tall. These elements, these pool and patio elements, are at 5 feet above the ground. So even in the purpose of the application, when it says in-ground pool, I beg to disagree. I think of an in-ground pool as something I can step into and get into. This in-ground pool is something you need to be up on a 5-foot story patio, and then you get into it. So in terms of the length and depth, it's not merely below grade. There's significant above grade elements, and they go much beyond what other approvals in the neighborhood have been. So my clients have practical concerns with how these impacts will affect their enjoyment of the property, but they're also worried about it from a precedent perspective. And that is along Edgar, and you'll have seen this in 22 Edgar's opposition letter, you have a general line along the backyards where the buildings kind of end. And that's been respected almost uniformly on Edgar Avenue. And that's the purpose of those performance requirements in the zoning bylaw. So that pulls us back. In my final minute, I'll take us to the 4 tests. So one of the things that this committee needs to pay attention to is the intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw and those performance requirements. What is the building length, building depth trying to achieve? We submit that it's trying to achieve a relatively uniform rear, essentially marking of properties and buildings so that you have enjoyment of rear yards with open space and views and sunlight. And this is an area of the City of Toronto that, as I've noted, is quite mature. The lotting pattern, much of the built form actually dates back nearly a century. And it's typified by like a park-like open field. And we don't think that's being respected when you allow for over 30 meters of building depth and building length. And just to close, it's not that my clients want to stop these folks from having their dream home or being a forever home. Indeed, my clients are in their forever homes. But we don't think these compromises should be made all in service of a below-grade parking structure when an above-grade garage could work just fine, and they could still have largely the same built form otherwise. So subject to the committee's questions, those were my submissions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Panel, any questions? Thank you, sir. Okay, I think, is there anyone else in attendance today who wants to speak to this item? No? We have folks online?
No.
Through you, Mr. Chair, on our speakers list, we did have the owner at 16 Edgar Avenue, but we've already heard from council based on that, so we won't have to hear from that owner.
Right. Okay. All right. Hi, welcome back. Okay, sir, you've heard some concerns. I wonder if you could take some time and provide a response.
I can have my presentation materials up again. I'd like to go to slide 10 to begin. There we go, the last one. Thank you very much. And perhaps you could zoom into the photo on the left. I think that'd be helpful for the committee. There are certain comments made about the imposition of massing and how this will create sun impacts, light impacts, and create the feeling of a wall against the property. I'd like you to see that the photo on the left was taken during a site visit with the neighbor that just spoke, and red stakes were put into the ground. The stake on the left represents the length or depth of the original application that was submitted. And the stake on the right represents the modifications that were made in the proposal that we're proceeding with today. As you can see, the additional length or depth that is being requested is about 1.5 meters greater than the addition that exists today. This staking was put down as a visual representation to help the neighbors see that there wasn't a material difference. Unfortunately, I think that point has been missed. In terms of some of the comments about this setting a negative precedent, perhaps I can ask you to shift to the right side of your screen where it says consistent with previous approvals. As you can see, obviously, I'd like to make this point up front. When it comes to alleged impacts, as you're aware, the test of whether a variance is minor is a test of impact, as opposed to a mathematical exercise that ignores context and focuses on percentages. And I would submit to you that no unacceptable adverse impact has been identified by the other speakers. Saying that there's an impact is not enough. There's a threshold to be met. Now, putting aside context, in terms of the numbers themselves, I would turn your attention to these approvals, which show several examples of recent approvals in the area with lengths and or depths that are greater than the current application. Obviously, every application needs to be judged on its own merits, but to the extent that we want to focus on approvals and precedents, this is not a greater length than has been approved elsewhere. Given the vintage of homes in this area, minor variances have become more common as residents attempt to renovate or replenish existing houses, and I think these figures help to show that the current proposal is very consistent with those other projects. In terms of context, I'd like to go back to that point because there are concerns about the additional massing. Interface matters as well. I've already pointed to the fact that to the very east, it'll only be 1.5 meters greater than exists today. It's also important to reemphasize that all of the trees along the properties are being preserved. The note about removal trees on the site plan were 2 bushes, committee, that have 5 centimeters and 10 centimeters in depth. So unfortunately, I think that the architect that spoke may have been misreading the plans. All trees are being preserved. Finally, there were some comments made about underground garages and whether they're permitted. I'd like to make this point for you in terms of character of the neighborhood. Firstly, below-grade garages are permitted under the bylaw, which is why there is actually no variance before you that grants permission for a below-grade garage. I would point to the fact that this is also why there are examples, at least 8 other examples of below-grade garages in the area, 3 of which are 100 meters from the site. Furthermore, I'd like to make the comment that if you go back to slide 3, and if you could just zoom out. Once again, our client has made extensive efforts to meet with all the neighbors. The last meeting was actually on Monday evening when we did everything in our power to try to bring this to a point where everyone could support the application. I'd like to emphasize that it's been months of meetings despite the comments. It's been dozens of one-on-one and group meetings. We've also worked very collaboratively with staff to get to this point. I think that the staff recommendations are detailed and the approval conditions provide further safeguards that the applicant will proceed with an approval that is consistent with the plans that have been shown. A further process is set in terms of work to be done with urban forestry and heritage staff, all of which is to say, I believe the application continues to meet the 4 tests under the Planning Act. I'll pause there if you have any specific questions for me, but I hope that resolves or addresses some of the comments that have been made by my friends.
Great. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Dylan?
Yeah, you've referred to other underground garages in the area. Are those, access from the front, or are they also like rear ramp access?
Predominantly rear. Yeah, predominantly through the sides of houses. Like I can show photos if you'd like, but of the 8,
we can't accept new materials. So,
for example, I have an approval here. Yeah, here's an example. So for 139 Roxborough Drive, which is near the site, actually a client represented by Mr. Gill, ironically. 135. At 135, it was a laneway up the side towards the back, much like this proposal. Of the 8, I believe 7 of them are for rear garages in a similar fashion.
And also like underground.
And underground, below grade, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Gary?
Yes, thanks. A few minutes ago, you had a slide, and you were saying that your application was consistent with approvals. But just when I looked at it quickly, in terms of the length of the building length and building depth, they seemed deeper, further than those other applications that you mentioned that were consistent. So you seem to be the longest, but I took a very quick look at that, but that's how it seemed to me. Why don't you speak to that?
Yes, thank you. Perhaps you can pull up, if someone could pull up slide 10 for me. I acknowledge that we're getting into the decimal points when we're looking at apples to apples with the numbers. But so there's some examples. For example, 137 Roxborough Drive, where length 22.69, depth 24.42. Both of those are greater than the subject proposal, which is at grade 20.8, 23.9. There are several other examples that are between 21 and as high as almost 20. You see 24 and 23 meters here. So when I said consistent, I apologize if I misled you. Some are slightly higher, some are slightly lower, but there's certain examples where both are longer or deeper at grade.
And I think what my colleague is pointing out is that while these all relate to the above ground, you're asking for a below ground extension that is considerably larger than these ones. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir, because of where the setbacks are taken from. If you are looking at, if we are measuring from a feature of the proposal, which once again is totally below ground and wouldn't be felt or experienced by the public realm, then the variances do, and that's why I said they're quite technical in nature. They're inflated technically. But again, that's part of what I'd like to say to you this morning. Sometimes the bylaw is interesting, right? You insert an application and it spits out certain numbers, but it's the context and the qualitative analysis that reveals, what do these numbers actually mean? And in my submission, if you're just looking at the variance list, you don't get a sense of the fact that we're actually measuring from something that would not be perceived from the public realm. And in my submission, wouldn't affect the character of the neighborhood, because once again, it's something happening entirely below grade.
Okay. All right, I have a couple. So I just want to clarify. So you and your clients originally had a proposal that above ground went further back, right?
A couple meters further back, yes.
Yeah, so you have, I presume, based on the consultations and discussions with neighbors, your client has pulled that back, and I thought you said 1.5 meters beyond the existing, is it a 2-story building in the rear?
Correct. We've pulled it back considerably to the point where what we're proposing now is 1.5 meters back from an existing 2-story addition.
Okay.
Correct.
One of the neighbors, I guess, to the east was talking about overlook and privacy. But someone pointed out, I think council pointed out that the swimming pool is an elevated swimming pool. Is it an elevated swimming pool?
The pools are at grade, sir.
At grade.
And I can add that the second story, the 2-story additions feature green roofs. And again, the properties are lined with trees that are being preserved.
Right.
So I struggle to see how, with those mitigation measures, there'd be any risk of privacy and overlook. And that's before I get to the fact that the buildings are effectively aligned with the property to the east.
And I guess my observation looking at the site plan is that the swimming pool is adjacent to the neighbor's garage.
Correct, which is to remain.
So it doesn't feel to me like there's a significant overlook challenge there. Okay. Yeah, I think that's my questions. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
All right, let's go into committee. Anyone want to start us off, Dylan?
I don't have a particular problem with the above ground proposals. However, I think that I don't agree that it's technical or that it doesn't have an impact. Half of that extremely extended, not very minor extension of length and depth is actually paved driveway with a ramp. I feel like that's far more disruptive than is necessary to park 2 cars at the rear. It's really significantly disruptive. It takes a huge amount of the rear yard. It is the kind of parking that is normally for a multi-unit building. I don't really think it's appropriate for a single family building. So I just don't think that, I think that it's far more disruptive than is appropriate for providing parking for 2 cars. And again, it means that a very significant amount of the rear yard is actually surface construction. And then, as we've often had concern about iceberg buildings, effectively a very large portion of the rear yard now is kind of built under, so there's no longer, properly green space. I recognize that we're not facing any green soft landscaping requirements, but this is an area where there are large amounts of rear yard soft landscaping. So to me, this is just unnecessarily disruptive of the rear yard and an overbuild, and I can't really support it.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? I understand that perspective. I respectfully don't necessarily agree with it, and here's why. I think this Rosedale neighborhood is not uncommon. These are large houses, large lots. It's not uncommon to have subterranean facilities. I totally get the point, and we've seen this at committee many times where the iceberg house issue has been raised. And I think in some cases we've refused those in part because there has been a landscaping challenge in terms of coverage and the ability for rainwater to permeate into the ground. I don't see that as much in this one, and one of the reasons is there is an existing driveway there feeding the garage that is currently on site. So this would be similar in terms of capturing that corridor for the driveway as what already exists. And I think also from my perspective, impact. The impact is obviously on the neighborhood. The impact is usually the above ground parts of an addition, and be it 2 or 3 stories. We have seen many that go back, frankly, a lot further than this application proposes. And I think the fact that they have pulled it back a little bit, I guess, in response to some of the neighborhood concerns, I think is a commendable thing. I don't think going up 2 stories, 1.5 meters beyond what the current structure presents is a significant incremental impact. I appreciate the neighbors are concerned about loss of shade, but I also would note that the setback on the east side is fairly significant. It's not, they're not encroaching. There's no side yard setback request for a variance on that side. So I look at this in terms of, is this consistent or inconsistent with what's going on in the neighborhood? We have seen these kinds of structures, and I think more egregious ones, frankly, in terms of the extent to which the underground or subterranean portion goes. This one doesn't, in my view, go as far as some that we've seen. And I don't see, personally, I don't see a significant negative impact. And we heard from council and others about character and the character of this neighborhood. All of the additions are to the rear. They are preserving the front facade, and I think one deputant indicated that from the public realm, there'll be very little noticeable impact on this. Again, not dissimilar from other applications we've seen in higher end neighborhoods like Rosedale and Forest Hill. So I think in the context of this street and the neighborhood, I don't see this as being significant. I'm not as fussed about the driveway, in part because there is an existing driveway there. This is a modest extension to it. I think we could ask the applicant to do permeable pavers if that would satisfy a little bit of the drainage and runoff issues. I don't think that would be a problem. But I don't think for me, there's not enough here to not be able to support it, because I don't see a significant negative impact. Okay, so I'll look to others for comments. Anyone else? No? Katie?
Yeah, thank you. I've been on the fence through this discussion on this, but ultimately I do think that the scale of the variances that we're looking at here, that are just reflective of an underground parking for a single family home, I don't believe that they're minor. I don't think that just because this is occurring below grade means that it isn't a significant impact. And so, yeah, I don't believe that I'll be able to support this application either.
Okay. All right, any further comments, or we can try a motion? Oh, Gary? Well,
I'll just say I think I adopt the analysis that was put out by our colleague, Mr. Reed. So that would put me not in support of the application.
Okay. All right, well, look for a motion then.
I'll move to reject the variances.
Okay, motion by Mr. Reed to refuse. I have a seconder. Ms. Plazer, all in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. The application is refused. Okay. We move on to item number 17. This is 80 Armstrong. This is an application to alter the existing rear one-story detached ancillary building, a two-car garage abutting the laneway, by constructing a complete second-story addition cantilevered at the south side of the building to contain one laneway suite. There will be a total of 4 residential dwelling units on this lot. The committee has before it a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 3 photographs of the subject property, and email correspondence from engineering.
For you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online.
Okay. Mr. Perez.
Hello, good afternoon, Chairman and committee members. My name is Eddie Perez. I'm at 537 Rogers Road. As you can see, it's a very minor in nature application. The 2 variances before you are pretty well existing. The width of the garage is already that width. And the front yard, the setback in the laneway is already existing situation as well. I'll be free to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Perez? See none. Okay, thank you. We'll take it into committee. Who wants to take this one?
I can take this one, Chair. I think the 2 variances in front of us are both very minor, and I think it's inappropriate and desirable for an additional unit on this property. So I'm happy to move a motion to support unless others have thoughts they want to add.
Okay, motion by Ms. Placer to approve.
And there are no conditions that I see on this.
Do I have a seconder?
Yes.
Mr. McKay, all in favor? You have your approval, Eddie. I would just make an observation on this, and I really like this one. And one of the reasons why is that we often see garden suites, laneway suites on top of existing garage simply add to the existing height. In this instance, the applicant has actually dropped the floor below the height of the existing garage to respect the overall height provisions of the bylaw. And I thought that was a nice touch, and we don't see that often enough, frankly.
Sounds good, yeah.
Okay. Is that it for this morning, Sabrina? All right. Thank you. That concludes this morning's applications. We back at what?
2 p.m.
Oh, we're back at 2 p.m. Oh my God.
Yes.
We're back at 2 p.m. This is a rare.
Members, turn off your videos, microphones. Please mute the room.